Hey, Amanda here.
And Chris Lavelle.
And you're watching the Crush Method show. And today we're talking about our secrets to overcoming the top 3 objections that people have to buying coaching.
Oh, yeah. And you may hear some or all of these. If you haven't already, you will definitely hear all of them at some point in your coaching career.
Exactly. I can't think of anything more frustrating than doing all that marketing work.
Oh, yeah.
Doing all of that hustle to get somebody to say yes.
All of that nurture, spending your time getting through a discussion, and then hitting a roadblock with one of these 3.
Yes. So, I love talking about sales and selling high ticket life coaching and premium programs because it's really how I got my start.
Well, absolutely
Yeah.
it is. You were a successful corporate consultant, but you wanted to have your own coaching business.
I did.
And until you learned how to sell, well, it was more of a hobby.
It
than
really
anything.
was. The sales that I learned about when I was in my corporate career was all very buttoned up, RFPs and
Sure, it's
supplier
eight-figure sales.
negotiations.
Yeah,
and
but it was not person to person.
It
It
wasn't
was
human to
somebody
human.
else's money, not an individual's money.
It wasn't
se.
consumer sales.
That's right. Now that's a totally different kettle of fish. Consumer sales are very different. Different timeline, different expectations, different objections, for example.
Exactly. You prepare for it completely differently. And I would say one of the biggest differences is in the consumer conversation, you've got to be able to respond. You've got to be able to react to, and it's very like real time.
Absolutely.
Versus maybe something that you might have experienced in an academic or a corporate kind of an
Or
environment.
it's through email, maybe, for example.
Exactly. And especially, I think something like life coaching, I think I get a kick out of it because it is invisible and expensive.
Haha, there you go.
Right.
It's not a physical product in that case.
If I was selling a car, at least I could be like, here's the car.
Here's the car,
right?
here's the house, but it's different. Doesn't mean it doesn't have value, though. And we're going to talk a little bit more about objections related to all of this
Exactly.
through our discussion today.
Yeah. And the master was once a disaster,
Yeah, weren't we all? We all start there.
Yeah, my first sale was to my best friend for $10 an
Oh
hour.
my gosh, that was faithful.
It was, I was
And
like,
then she never showed up.
I was so excited because I made a sale, right? I was so pumped because I actually made a sale. And I was like, oh, this is not going to
Yeah,
work.
well, $10 an hour for 8 sessions is a slow boat to nowhere in your coaching business.
so true.
Especially if you're leaving a successful career to do it. So obviously that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely needed to learn the skills. And so I decided to go to some of the best
Oh, yeah.
sales trainers and professionals. And I chose to work with people who I felt really had a lot of skill, obviously, but I really chose people that I felt had really high ethical standards.
Ah, that's important. You don't want to be icky or gross or
Yeah.
ethically unsound when you're doing sales discussions.
Exactly. And so the style of selling that I've developed from kind of pulling my own way of doing it and pulling from all of these different sources, I call it consciousness-based selling, which we're not going to be able to get into all of the details of
Because
it.
there's a lot of depth there. But we can
There
kind
is.
of crest the top of the wave and give you 3 things from it to help you with the process.
The thing about consciousness-based selling is that it really is about helping the prospect to have more consciousness or clarity about what it is that's really motivating or driving them to want change.
Absolutely.
So-
And that clarity works both ways. It's
Yes.
not just for the prospect. It's also for you, coach.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is a good fit for you. You may not want to coach on everything. So both of you need that clarity and that consciousness, to Amanda's point.
100%. So it's very much informed by coaching, by sales, and all of that. And we did a deeper dive training, by the way, in our group, the Coaches Plaza, which is our free community. You're welcome to come join us at www.thecoachesplaza.com. It's a free community. We do trainings that do deep dives on this. You can come join us live.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Come join us for
And
sure.
it's free.
Yes. But what are those big objections? The first one that most coaches start out with, and I definitely started out with, is how do you sell something people don't understand?
Oh, yeah. Maybe you hear the objection, I don't know if this is what I need.
Yes.
Because they don't understand it.
They don't get it. I remember my very early days. I was talking to some people in my network, from my old professional network, and they were like, I like you, Amanda.
What are you doing? I
But
don't get it.
I don't know if this is what I need. Like, what kind of certification is that again? I don't really get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, honestly, that hurt.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, the interesting thing is it comes from a cognitive bias. You're a coach. You've done all this skill work, all this training, all this certification to build your skills.
And it costs tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, sure, absolutely. It's not inexpensive to get all that. But now you're at a point where you think, I understand a lot about coaching. And you automatically think through this cognitive bias that everybody else also gets it.
Yeah.
But spoiler, coach, most of the world still doesn't know what coaching is.
My biggest breakthrough was coming from understanding that people are wonderful, but we as human beings are wired to be in it for ourselves.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? That's our favorite radio station. It's like WIIFM.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me radio, right? So if you are having the conversation about how great your coaching is and how awesome and transformative your coaching journey has been, you know, people are going to be polite and they're going to nod and they're going to cheer you on if they've known you for a few years. But if you're talking to a stranger about that, they're going to be like, what time is it?
Snooze fest.
Yeah.
Why should I care?
Why should I care?
I don't know if this is what I really need.
Got to tell you, that was like that was like a big sucker punch to the ego.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
It really was. So here's the truth. Coaching is a vague term. You know, like if you...
It could be a lot of different stuff.
I'll prove it to you. If you introduce... I was practicing introducing myself to strangers. Every time I would go to the airport to go to an event, I was going to conferences and seminars, I would challenge myself to go and introduce myself to strangers in an airport lounge. And I would say, I'm a coach. And they would be like, of baseball?
See, most people don't know what you're talking about in that context.
Right? Like, they had no idea. In my social media feeds, it's like, I'm friends with coaches and everybody's a coach, and coaches are, like, my entire feed is full of coaches. So it makes my brain kind of think like the whole world is full of coaches. But if you go to an airport lounge and you're with actual real human being
it was
people,
just normal people.
And that are like normal people traveling to other cities, they're like, baseball coach? It's like, no, like
that's a real reality
coach.
Check.
That was
a real reality
huge
check.
reality
Absolutely.
check. Yeah. So the thing is that people really, like, other people, if you don't believe me, check out your next family reunion. When you start telling the rest of your family, like, I'm a coach.
Tell Uncle Lou you're a coach and see how Uncle Lou reacts.
See how Uncle Lou reacts. Like, the fact that you're kind of like not telling the rest of your family about the fact that you're becoming a coach is a big indicator of what I'm telling you. Coaching is really vague. Like, there's a lot of people who call themselves coaches, and then this is one of my favorites. A lot of coaches are like, well, you're not a real coach.
Oh,
sweetie,
whoa.
hang on. Hold
We're
on.
We're not here for enlightenment shaming.
Hold on, right? You know, there's not like, it's not like you're a psychologist or something, and that is a protected term. That you legally have to have licensing to call yourself. Licensing
and regulation and a lot of that around
right?
it.
Right. So it is a vague term, and that's just a fact. So
what do you do about that, Coach?
What you got to do is you got to not sell coaching exactly. But
don't teach them what it's all about.
You what you want to do is you want to solve the problem that people are having with coaching. So coaching becomes it's kind of like you're selling the house instead of the hammer that's used to build the house.
So it's the tool you use to help them get the result. They want a house? Well, you use a hammer. They want a result, the problem solved.
Yeah.
You use coaching.
Exactly. So when I figured out that I needed to stop selling a certain type or brand of coaching that was sold to me, because coaching schools figured out that I wanted to become something else. So they're like, oh, become this super fancy kind of coach. And so they sold me on a certification so that it's like, and then you can become this professionally, and then people will be able to take you seriously.
And here's your toolkit.
And it's like, it did save me it taught me a lot, and it saved me some time.
Skills.
But the rest of the world doesn't get it. But you know what they do get? They do get that they want to solve a problem.
That's what matters to them. Solving their problems.
Exactly.
Helping them solve it through coaching, in your case, Coach.
Exactly. Now, we went on about this and two more really important objections Like, what do you do when somebody says coaching is expensive?
Oh, what do you say to that one?
What do you say to that one? We did that in our more detailed training in the Coaches Plaza. So you should definitely come and check it out, because you know what, Coach? If you can overcome these objections, you are going to be able to fill your practice with lots and lots of clients, right?
Absolutely.
We can't wait to meet you. So come join us in the Coaches Plaza. We will see you very soon.
All best, Coach. Mwah!